Hello, everyone. I'm Renown Zero, and we are back again talking about some stuff that happened over the weekend, some words that were said over the weekend by certain individuals that wanted to take jabs, light jabs at YellowFlash, which kind of turned into bigger jabs, considering that he would use the information that was being said to sort of get back YellowFlash for closing the Comicsgate community on Twitter and essentially exposing his page rate. And yes, we're talking about Ethan Van Sciver. For anyone that doesn't know, yes, we're talking about here YellowFlash releasing Ethan Van Sciver's page rate for his comic, I guess covers is what I am assuming he's talking about. So he decided to go at YellowFlash saying that he's not paying his artist Dillard, which isn't the case. We're going to clear all that stuff up right now in this video. Alpha Core number one, ending in 5 days, getting where you fit in, currently sitting at 1.236 million. This is, of course, ahead of the original Cyberfrog 2 campaign, which is absolutely hilarious considering that Cyberfrog isn't a new IP, whereas Alpha Core is, and probably written by a better writer in legendary Chuck Dixon. You can see right here, we got some more slabs you can get for covers A, B, and D. So get in where you fit in if you want to get a signed signature series with Chuck Dixon, or for ISOM 2 with Eric July. You also have Rip Reverse merch that you can get, comics, posters, shirts, hoodies, etc. Moving on over to Blade Devil 2, I always typically promote campaigns for books that I've backed myself that, in my opinion, I feel are going to be great. And I do this all the time in almost every video when it comes to dealing with comic stuff. I usually don't do these type of promotions in other types of videos that I do, but I typically do it in these because I like promoting these. This isn't my book. This is written by Raging Golden Eagle and Toxic Man Baby over on Twitter and on YouTube. So follow them on all forms of social media. You got a bunch of artwork from the book here. You'll get 69 pages of story with 2 supplemental stories in between those books. You get choices of cover A, cover B, cover C, cover D, or at least what I like to call cover D, which is the limited edition summer wraparound cover. It's a cover that wraps all the way around the book. This one costs quite a bit more because there are limited quantities of this. So currently sitting at 25 out of 100. Get in where you fit in. If you want to pick up Blade Devil 1, you can always go to this campaign instead, or you can get it as an add-on with your Blade Devil 2 book. Now moving over to Mike S. Miller, which his Shadow the Conqueror book looks fantastic. The artwork does. Haven't gotten into it yet. I will eventually get into it. But he says Ethan on stream just mocked Duck's Naples skin cancer again, saying he had a skin tag removed. Doug had like 3 or 4 square inches of his cheek cut off. He just heals well, like he got half a facelift. Ethan is garbage. I agree. Now he's using class warfare arguments against Eric July. Poor downtrodden Ethan, and now he's trying to make YellowFlash to look like a heartless employer because Dillard draws is going through some personal tragedy. Now, it's already been cleared up by Dillard himself that yes, YellowFlash has asked him multiple times to help him with his financial situation, and he refused it outright. Got everything cleared up. This was after Eric July talked with both Dillard and YellowFlash, and he put this out here on Twitter, of course, saying this is intriguing. I love to talk about the economics of comics, so I figured I would chime in. I've got nothing but love and respect for Flash, and Dillard was our second place winner of the ISOM number 2 fan art contest, which they had a big fuss about, even though people like Tom McFarlane have fan art contests all the time, and yet they had no problem with it. Let me first start by saying it was screwed up that people try to weaponize Dillard's financial situation not because they cared about Dillard, solely to attack Flash. That wrote them into some BS, and I'm glad he cleared the record. But let's talk money and ownership, as I'm assuming all this is true. I have zero insider knowledge, and they own the book, property, and publishing 60-40. This is a ballsy move by Dillard, and I respect it. Instead of having Flash take 100% of the ownership and paying him in the form of a commission, he's waiving that to take 40%. Is this risky? Yes. But if this reaches anything near the potential, he's going to make far more money. Assuming that's the split, it won't take long at all for him to make what he would have made on commission while also maintaining ownership. I've seen some people say, quote, but he should have given advance, which makes zero sense and is only being brought up because of Dillard's situation, which he rightfully acknowledges is completely irrelevant to business. Nonetheless, the ownership is about risk and owners assume it. This is the reality. At this stage, to my knowledge, there has been nothing up for sale for this book. There hasn't, because I would have already picked up one of everything by now. So in order for Dillard to be given in advance, by the way, I'm just reading the tweet, That would mean Flash is just giving him the money despite nothing being for sale. Whether he has the money or not, again, is irrelevant. And, quote, advance and even royalties are generally few exceptions given to the person that doesn't own the property and or publishing. As it stands, Diller's risk is the time allotted to doing the art of this book, and obviously Flash is in the writing and whatever capital is being used. Diller's advantage is that his quote risk isn't in financial assets, it's doing his art, which is rare in almost all businesses. You cannot think of ownership like a contractor. Ownership means, especially with the initial project, you're going to be doing a lot of work before you see a dime, meaning he's going to work on the book, he's going to complete the book, and then essentially when people back it, it'll be a complete product. It'll essentially be a pre-order. It won't be a crowd fund. I assume Flash will upfront the money right away, and people will just buy and receive the book. The one who writes the check is the last one to get paid. Dillard seems to have assessed the risk and understands that, especially with Flash's following, this could be a nice tandem and a big payday for both parties. Having a massive following is not a guarantee in sales by any means, which is a big misconception that people had, that because you have a big following, you're expected to make big bucks on anything you sell. It's absolutely not true, but it's a huge advantage. In my quote, making money in comics video, I specifically brought up the idea that comics need to get away from the one size fits all narrative, one size fits all model, essentially, where there's only one way to make money in comics. There is no one way to do this and make it a profitable venture. Not everything is going to work, and there will be trial and error. The fact that people are trying some new things is exactly what this industry needed. I sincerely wish nothing but the best for Dillard and YellowFlash, and should they need any advice or help, I'm right here. And of course, this was the fan art that was submitted by Dillard for the ISOM #2 fan art contest. Apparently, they also tried to say that YellowFlash did not pay Joe Ball for whatever he paid him for. I'm assuming it's a cover for his book right here, directly from Joe Ball himself. Anyone saying YellowFlash didn't pay me for my work are intentionally being dishonest. He paid me bigly. Don't believe everything you hear. And this is, of course, brings me to this. This would be Joe Ball's current project that he's working on, with that he writes, inks, and draws, called Death, 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 which you can back on Indiegogo. I will leave a link to it in the description. You can get 3 different versions of this book: color, line art, or manga. I chose to go with all 3 because I like the way this looks, and I feel like it's going to be fantastic. But if you just want to get one, you can get the manga edition for $18. You can get the hardcover line art for $30, or you can get the hardcover color edition for $45. And we'll go through some of the artwork here. You have color, you have line art, you have manga. You have line art, you have manga, you have color. So you can at least get a feel for what type of book you're going to be in for. It's a 300-page graphic novel. Showing more again of that. People like here, Matt Bayer, who wants to say Eric built a platform with his videos and made ISOM. That Eric went to Craigslist/Brazil, that the artwork shows. Saying to him, it is unfortunate that you either think non-American means not professional, or Brazil means not professional. It's a weird narrative that they're putting out there, that because he hires people from Brazil, all of a sudden their artwork is crap, their artwork means nothing, their professionalism in the business that they've been in for a while means nothing. We got Igor saying, yeah, okay, so they don't know about the roster of Brazilians that worked in comics for ages, or are they just being disingenuous? From what I can tell, from what I've seen, I believe Matt Bayer does know quite a bit about his comic stuff. So I feel like he's just being disingenuous because it's against Eric July. This weird anti-Brazilian artist position that came out of nowhere is so weird. These are professionals who have had work with the big 2 and smaller publishers for years in the mainstream, and no one cried about them until they did work with us. Interesting. Professor Hayteen says, tons of Brazilian artists are fantastic, and let's face it, a lot of indie writers go foreign to hire. Some of them because they're cheap, some of them because they know talent when they see it. We have Dan Cotter saying, you gotta love the effing guys who rely entirely on customers funding them money for indeterminate amounts of time, accusing others of being cheap. Especially ironic when aimed at guys spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of their own money to build their companies from scratch. Perfect example, basically saying this. This is like the perfect meme. I'm way more talented than you. I say they suck. Give your money to me instead. Quit having fun. It's just Rippaverse. That's exactly how people act. That's how they act all day long. Imagine thinking Goop is a good name. For context, we're talking about people with at bare minimum a decade plus working for the big two and most of the larger indie companies. These are the supposed non-professionals. He's probably drunk. Just ignore him. 100%. There is a distinct. If the artist isn't American, they're not a professional vibe going on. Ridiculous. Does he know Gwyneth actually made her assistant smell her hoo-ha every day for weeks so she can make a candle that smells like it? I don't think Gwyneth is the level he should use. I agree. Also, how can they compare your financial stature with that of Gwyneth Paltrow? Gwyneth is an eight-figure multimillionaire when she started Goop. That is very true. I heard Aaron July poured sugar into the gas like every person's grandmother. Yeah, that's a running joke that people had online. And he did respond. Nobody I've hired has not been a professional. Not sure why you're taking shots at our artists, but Brazil does not equal unprofessional or not professional. I'm solo on the totem pole, but I appreciate you always reaching out. I'm joking on the quality of the art in your book. No hive mind. I'm not saying this for clout. I'm sure you are. You're in that EVS type of camp. And the times you replied to me, you always avoid the topic of 3D assets being traced. You'll argue about my choice of words like Brazil, or you correcting me about the art being easy compared to logistics. Fluff crap, irrelevant, at least to me. You have no deadline to your book beyond the ones you set, right? So why does it look rushed and half-assed like it's a monthly book? You couldn't find an artist that could come up with a castle in a truck. I have long boxes of better-looking castles, and they were all done on monthly deadline. Gene Kalan Drew Castles in Tomb of Dracula, monthly book, and it blows your trace stuff out of the water. If you reply and it won't be about tracing, you'll say some crap about me not explaining Brazil to you, something else pedantic AF, or you'll block me and call me detractor. I'm not avoiding anything. If you feel like it's rushed, if you feel it looks rushed, that's your business. But again, I've not hired anybody that wasn't professional. I'm just correcting the record. All interior artists had been artists in the industry for decades. You are free to think such, and such blows whatever out of the water. If quote Brazil isn't important, then okay, I'm going based on what you said. How do you feel about this page? Now this is a drawn page by Joe Bennett for Alpha Core #1. Okay, they're professional. My reply would be that there's levels to talent. So you're shifting the goalposts, essentially. This is what we call shifting the goalposts. So you made a claim, you got called out for it, you got corrected on it, and then you shifted the goalposts. That's exactly how mud detractors work, right? They would say, well, more detractors. This is how they always operate. You guys always operate on this notion that you can just spew any crap into the ether and expect it to be true. And then when you get a tiny bit of pushback, you decide to shift the goalposts every single time. But coming from Cam, right? So this really says a lot. Ethan, the leader of Cancelgate, has woven a fantasy that he and Malin created Comicsgate. What a narcissistic psychopath. But it explains why he thinks he can control people. What a piece of crap. So let me just make sure my audio's on. Make sure my audio's turned up before I play this video. This little 52-second clip here. So let's just listen to this real quick.
So many times. Me and John have been here since the beginning, and we've been through so many insurrections and attempts to overthrow us, and they just don't understand that this thing exists because of me and John. So, I mean, until me and John die or go away.
From what I understand, the idea of Comicsgate exists because people were tired of the mainstream always portraying one side of the aisle and only writing about socio-political nonsense and people inserting that type of garbage into their comic books rather than it just being fun. I could have sworn that was the idea of Comicsgate.
It's never going to end. And some other people can leave, some other people can come and replace them. It really doesn't matter. The whole thing circulates around the two of us. And I think Larry's Comics said Comicsgate is Ethan, John, and about 6 other people that are mainstays. Shane Davis would be included. Mandy would be included.
The difference is Shane Davis and Mandy Summers, from what I can tell, doesn't really involve themselves with the nonsense that you're on about.
Who else is like Anna, I guess, Cecil.
Anna's not Comicsgate. She doesn't make comics. Cecil made Cash Grab. Okay, cool. But it seems to me that Cecil also likes to stay out of the nonsense. Same thing with Anna. Anna seems to want to stay out of the nonsense. Because Anna has said on even her live stream that she's friends with multiple people that are having their drama back and forth that they're having right now.
And other than that, really, like, everybody else kind of comes and goes. They're interchangeable. They'll stay, they'll go. And that's just reality. That's what these people don't understand. So
Yeah. People don't understand why you have such an ego when you're getting toppled over by Eric July. That's what people are not really understanding. They're not understanding why you're being that way rather than just going, congratulations, man, you made all this money. Cool. Let's keep doing that. Let's keep working rather than sitting here looking like a overzealous, jealous maniac and just working on your late books and working on your projects, which is what you've started recently doing is working on your projects after you were essentially called out for your late nonsense. But we never use the same logic when it comes to Ethan versus Eric July. It's always everything bad, bad Eric July versus, oh no, Ethan's good on this side, even though we like to say, people like to say, the detractors like to say, oh well, this book went down in value and and this book made less money than this book, and the sales dropped from ISOM 1 to ISOM 2, but yet they don't want to go to the other side and go, well, the sales and numbers went down from Cyberfrog 2 to Cyberfrog 3. Cyberfrog 3 currently has less than half of what Cyberfrog 2 made, but they don't want to talk about that part because they're Ethan, you know, cultist, if you will. But they want to sit up here and call me a simp and all this other stuff. But they don't want to call out their own people for doing the nasty crap that they're doing, right? Everybody's so threatened by the black man, by the Eric Julys of the world that are doing their own thing and doing it better, right? It's such a weird thing. So Project H here, right, says, so the Ethan Van Sciver sit on this apparent quote injustice for months and only now reveal it because YellowFlash blabbed out his page rate. He literally did nothing to help Dillard. Really shows how much he actually cares in reference to Ethan Van Sciver. Yes, I have him blocked. I don't really care. I typically don't even mention the man unless someone brings it to my attention. Similar to anything else, when I have someone blocked, I don't really care to talk about them on Twitter. It's just my way of doing things. So he does confirm that he has a partnership with YellowFlash on the comics, still waiting on the supposed injustice. Yes, something, a deal that Dillard chose to take is somehow an injustice. This is him here, by the way. From my understanding, this isn't info EVS was sitting on. It was a bunch of tweets that came out within the last month. It doesn't seem very secretive. He's done quite the opposite of helping Dillard. This quote, cancel YellowFlash's comic coverage is very much hurting what could have been a large payday for him. Hope it still does well. I'm certainly considering it now more than I was before Ethan got his ego bruised. Yeah, I could see YellowFlash doing at least $500,000 on his book. Easy. That'll be easy for him. I think everyone can recognize EVS's talent and acknowledge that he's done something tremendous in building a company to support his work and his family without compromising his deeply held views. However, there is a repeated occurrence of drama and antics that ought not be. Right. Of course, we also have people who think they troll, which it's not really a troll, dude. It's like you're trying very hard to be noticed by me because notice me senpai vibes is what I get from this guy. Literally posting on almost everything I post. Meanwhile, I have you muted. And I don't respond to you ever. You keep responding, waiting for me to respond back to you, and I just respond around you. I don't respond directly to you. I just respond around you. And you keep talking. You're eventually, I'm sure maybe you'll get bored, maybe not. If not, I'll just keep monetizing you. It's fine. I don't really care what you really have to say. So this person responds to that guy saying, you don't have anything to say about the post though. And they never do, says LG, shout out. Timmers, of course he doesn't. That might mean he has to face the truth. Apparently he's here to pick on the Eric wannabe. Yeah, because, things and reasons and stuff. So I put this out here, like I said, someone brought it to my attention on EVS's stream, which, like I said, I don't hate watch for drama farming. I don't drama farm at all. The drama typically comes to me, and I just report on it and monetize it. EVS is either so dumb that he actually thought this was me, or he knows it's not me and is going along with the two fat retards and drunken peasants who once again created a false account of me on YouTube because they're butthurt. I have the Discord messages of who created the first fake account from their weirdo Discord. I can also, like I said, show the world how obsessed and gay your community is. To which I posted this clip, right?
The hate septic tank is renowned zero.
So it also was brought to my attention before I play this It's right down here. To be fair, he knew it was a fake account, and he mentioned that pretty early on. Said something like, "Whoa, Renown Zero's here, fake Renown Zero, by the way." So maybe he did know it was a fake account. Who fucking knows? According to Garrett, who does follow me on Twitter, apparently he did know it was a fake account. He just wanted to go along with the BS of a bunch of weirdos online who essentially have nothing to lose, but they want to sit up here and lie about how they doxed me in a live stream. Meanwhile, the account says Sturgis Mother, but somehow I doxed myself even though the account says that. But whatever. I still don't understand what happened or why EVS is salty. Hopefully it blows over. It's not very hard. It's essentially Ethan shared a private message between the two rather than talking on the phone, and it was just a message saying Eric to Ethan saying, "I don't appreciate you bringing on these people who are essentially trying to destroy my business, and I would appreciate it if you don't do that because I do that for you." And he called it a threat. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, so you can see right here, it's not me, obviously. You're missing an N here because you're stupid, and you have a capital R, GG. So, congratulations on creating yet another fake account. All you're doing for me is essentially making me look better, because I don't go around doing that weird shit at all. Y'all want to continue to sit up here and do that? Me go right ahead. Create these weirdo fake accounts. I'll continue to grow consistently, make fun of you, and monetize you. I might even EFAP your live stream since you want to talk a bunch of nonsense and lie about me all the time. I might just make some money off of you some more. So I think that'll be all for today, everyone. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, returning viewers. If you do like the video, hit the like button, comment below how you feel about all of this, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all notifications. That way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video or live stream on this channel. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.